Hey there, it's David here with another Cinelli chat. Natalie, my wife, for those of you who don't know, and I had this conversation the other day. We were talking about the Jays, and she was, reflecting upon last year. She's like, well, I hope they don't do what they did last year. There was a couple of games in the early part of the year, whether it was April or May or June or something like that, where they lost to teams that were below them. And that's why the reason why when it came to the push to get to the playoffs, they were either a game or two behind because they lost those games. I said, whoa, wait a second. You can't look at it that way. You can't look back and say, well, maybe if we would have won that game, maybe it would have been one game ahead. You can't. And why do I say that? Well, it's simple. Because you learn from your past mistakes. For all you know is maybe that loss in which they played against that shitty-ass team they shouldn't have lost to, maybe they learned from that. Maybe the team got together and said, you know what? I never want to feel like I felt this way again. This was a terrible loss. We shouldn't have lost to these guys. Screw that. We're not going to lose again. And if you noticed last year, they put a couple of wins together. They strung a whole bunch of winning series together, and that's what gave them the push to make it to the playoffs. But what would have happened if they would have won that game, the game to say, quote unquote, the game they should have won, and they played like shit and they were terrible? What would they have learned? Or they probably learned, hey, maybe we don't have to play the best, and we can still make it to the playoffs. Which is the wrong mentality, obviously. They wouldn't even been, if they had that mentality, they wouldn't even been close to getting to the playoffs last year. So that was my rebuttal to my wife. Yeah, and if you follow along with my motivational Mondays, you should have known this was coming. You can't dwell on the past. You can't. You need to learn from the past. You need to make mistakes, and those mistakes allow you to become a better person, husband, wife, lawyer, doctor, I don't care what it is, athlete, I don't give a shit, whatever it is. Your past life, your past experiences allow you to mold what your future is going to be. So there's two things. So my point of this, Cinelli chat is two things. One, don't dwell on the past, as you've seen. I've talked to them before. Learn from those mistakes, but you also don't want to be too worried about what's going to happen in the future. So think about it as the same scenario. If you're winning a whole bunch of games, you're like, oh great, we're going to make it to the playoffs, and you have your mindset, or you're worried what's going to happen in the future, it's also not going to be as effective. I love that saying for that one song. Worrying about the future is just as effective as chewing bubblegum to solve a mathematical equation. So yeah, you want to have your eyes in the future to anticipate what's coming, but don't keep your head in there the whole time. Don't keep your head in the past either. Live in the here and now, learn from your mistakes, anticipate what's going to happen in the future, and mold yourself that way. Make sense? I hope so. Have a great day, guys. Bye for now.